Hello, Ann Jans again. Today I'd like to show you how to put the warp strings on your loom, which are the strings that hold your weaving together. We'll be using a brass ring, as I had said in my introduction. We'll be doing a weaving similar to this, except that I'm working this time in purple. The warp is the strings that are inside the weaving. For a tapestry, you don't actually see them, except at the ends you will see them. So it's important that you get the warp on securely and that it's very nice and snug, nice and tight. And then later, after the warp is on the ring, you'll start weaving across. So as I said, the strings that go across, which are basically the skeleton of the piece, are the warp strings. The yarns that go across the warp are called weft. Sometimes it's called woof, but I don't use that term, I use weft. So this is what we're going to be doing today. Most traditional tapestry weavers in the past used cotton, twine, or linen, and they used the natural colors, like the white for the string, or for the cotton, or like beige for the linen. I like to change it up a bit and get a little more modern, and I like to match my warp to my weft, to have it coordinate with my weft. So the first thing you need to do in order to make that decision is choose what your actual design and your warp, or your weft, is going to be. So what you'll probably, if you're a weaver or a fiber person, you probably have yarn around the house already. You can choose from those yarns, and you can also go to your favorite craft store and get more. What I'd like to suggest and recommend for your first project is to choose a yarn that I like to call my anchor beauty. An ombre or a multicolored yarn like this one. This is what I'm choosing for this project. So we have all these different lovely colors, and this will be kind of the like on this weaving, it'll go throughout on all four segments and kind of hold it together. I have a couple other selections, like you could go with that and do all the pinks and oranges and reds. Here's another beautiful combination. These are space-dyed yarns that you can find at any craft store. When you go to buy them, let me show you. First, you can use cotton, which is the sugar and cream, this one is. I like the metallics, Patton's metallic. They come in all colors, and they're really beautiful. Here's another one. What you're striving for is a variety of texture and sheen, or surface. You want the soft, muted, and then you want the bright and shiny. You can also use mohair, which is really, really awesome, something furry. This is cord made from suede, makes a beautiful combination. Embroidery floss is awesome for your color variations and for your shine. Regular, just plain, nice plain wool is great too. Then this is a boucle, which is really cool. There's just a real nice variety in your store. This one is like a suede fiber. Really, really nice. And also you can use ribbon. I like to use ribbon. There's a ribbon with a picot edge, and there's a plain ribbon. So you have this nice variety of, this is one of my favorite things too. This is silk. This is another of my passions. I like to dye silk. So if you make a bunch of scarves or something in silk and you dye it yourself, you get all these nice color variations. Now I really like this. And then if you have a project that you either don't like or didn't turn out right, or there's a bad part to it, you can cut it up and use it in your weaving projects. So all the fiber goes together. It makes a really nice combination. So, all right, now that you have your colors, you now know what to use for your weft. So for this piece, I'm going to use this nice, soft lilac color. All right, let's get this out of the way. And I can start to show you how to put your wefts or your warp on your ring. Okay, so you're going to take the ring and you're simply going to, oh wait a minute, I wanted to show you the butterflies, that's a lot easier. When you have your thing, like you said that I showed you, that's kind of awkward. So like I like to make butterflies. You take the yarn and you leave a nice long trail, like, you know, nice long tail. And then you do a figure 8 around your baby finger and your thumb. You see what I'm doing? I'm crossing over and making a butterfly. And you make it pretty big because you want to get all of your warp on in one go. You don't want to have knots in the middle. So I'm going to do the butterfly. You get really fast at this. Okay, and then you're going to cut it, leave a nice long, and then you're going to wrap it around that center, that crossover part. Wrap it nice and firmly, and then when you get to the end, you bring the last part through in a loop, or not, just pull it through, tie it tight, there you are. You have your butterfly. You can do this with all your yarns, and it makes them a lot easier to handle. Okay, let's get warping. I'm going to tie the first knot. Sorry, I get the sniffles down here. We're in the basement of our house. That's why we call it the studio down under. Okay, that's your first one. Now, I recommend you tape it for your first couple tries. Otherwise, you'll probably end up flinging the whole weaving across the room, which is fine, as long as you don't hit anyone. But it's better to not frustrate yourself. And then you can pull this, you can cut this tape off after. All right, so we have our first knot. We're going to go directly across the ring, and we're going to tie another knot over here. It's just a simple, nothing fancy, just go through like that, and then tie it as tight as you can without buckling your ring. The ring shouldn't give, but it'll hold it nice and tight. Now that you have your ring, your first one, you're going to go around the ring 5 times, okay, to your right. If I can count. This is to give spacing between your warp threads. Okay, so now we're there. You're going to come back through with another just simple knot. I make it look simple, don't I? No. Anyway, and tie it nice and tight. Now, you're going back across the ring, but this time you're going to go to your left, okay, so that they're crossing. You don't want them parallel. We'll do that on another project. For this project, we're going radially. Okay, so you're going to tie another knot, nice and tight, and you're going to go 5 times around, away from the previous string. Okay, and then you're going to do a knot. Just bring it around underneath and through. And you're going to go across, again, crossing over. And you're going to bring it under. Five times. Now, this isn't rocket science. If you miss one, the world will not stop turning and your tapestry will not fall apart. The main thing you need to know, though, is that your warp string needs to be nice and strong, because there's no point in going through all this and making a weaving and then having the warp fall apart. The weft doesn't have to be that strong because the warp is doing all the work. Okay, back across. Five times. And then come through. And then back across. And it gets simpler as you go along. At first you might, like I say, be slinging it like a frisbee all over the place, but you'll get to it. And hey, worst case scenario, you cut it off and start over. It's only string and a $2.50 ring, so there's not that big an investment so far. Okay. So that's it. You keep going. For this particular pie shape, I recommend going up to 19 strings. All right, so that's the end of this segment. I do need to point out to you that you must make sure you leave some nice long tails on all of your ends of your segments, because at the end, when your weaving is all finished, your tapestry, you'll work it in through the back with a needle so it's not hanging out looking sloppy. So the front of your weaving will be here, and we'll be doing that in our next segment. Thank you so much for coming back to my studio down under.